What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Cryptid Saturday, and in today's cryptid video, we are going over the cryptids of Hawaii. Hawaii's, I thought, would honestly have a little bit more since it's like a really cultural island and nation. I figured they'd have more myths and legends. Uh, but I guess there's really only one. That's like the big one that everybody likes to write about. So we're gonna cover that. I did find a good an article, I think, that has a lot. I think it moves into like invasive species a little bit more. Uh, but hey, you know what? It's an article on cryptids from Hawaii, and that's what we got to go with. But for you guys, though, I would like for you to drop a comment down below with any, if you guys live in Hawaii and you guys have heard of any of these. And honestly, though, if also, a lot of times they'll have good descriptions, but not great pictures. So if you guys could do up some fan art and send it to me on Instagram, and I'll post it on my Instagram. I'd love to see that. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another Cryptid Saturday, and let's get into this video. Like I always like to say, guys, I don't own the rights to these articles. I did not write these articles. I simply use them to pass along information to you. If you guys would like to read the article, it is at soulask.com, and yeah, go show them some love. If you don't want to, just stick around and we're going to go through this together. Aloha Cryptozoology, mythic and mystery beast of Hawaii. Whereas other states of the USA have attracted considerable cryptozoological attention over the years, it is a strange yet true fact that Hawaii's mythical and mystery beasts have received far less notice. The present article reveals the hitherto little realized variety of anonymous wildlife reported from the 50 states. Mo'o, giant lizard deities. One of the most prevalent yet mysterious creatures in traditional Hawaii mythology is the Mo'o or Moho. According to legend, this ancient monstrous animal, which is invariably associated with water, functions as a guardian spirit deity, variously protecting individual families, districts, and places, particularly fish ponds. But it can be notoriously capricious. The Mo'o resembles a huge, shiny-backed, dragon-esque lizard, measuring anything between 12 and 30 feet in its true form. It possesses the ability to shapeshift, sometimes appearing as a normal tiny gecko and other times as a beautiful, seductive woman, and communicates its wisdom to humans in dreams. It inhabits deep inland fish ponds, where its presence can be confirmed if there is a foam upon the water surface. Fish obtained from such a pond will taste bitter, further proof of the Mo'o's presence. Okay, so the foam on the pond is froth, okay, and froth occurs in areas of like where moving water goes in, like areas of stagnant water that move. So froth is created by moving water, and sometimes the froth will collect in like stagnant pools within the moving water. So if the fish ponds are creating froth, then it's just going to be froth filled, and it's not going to be moving as fast, and that's probably why those fish don't taste that good. But obviously, I'm not going to be able to like come up with what is like a logical explanation for what mo'o are. Um, Probably not a lot of these. Actually, Hawaii is more mythical than other states, because it's got like a lot of deep Polynesian traditions and things like that. So it's gonna be kind of hard for me to come up with things. Like that's an explanation for like that particular part, but the moho's existence, I'm not sure what it could be. Mostly because there's nothing that shapeshifts, but they do have geckos. So maybe it was like somebody saw a gecko way back in the day and just created the myth from that. But I mean, you never know, though. I don't want to hurt on anybody's traditional here. Obviously, these things could be real, and even if they're not, it honestly doesn't matter. But that's just my understanding of how that particular part of the story works. So I'm sorry if anyone gets offended at any point during this video. Like I always like to try and give rational explanations for what things could be, and that's just the way I'm trying to format these videos. So I'm going to do my best, but the best part about this is I'm not right and all the time or ever, and it's going to be easily to disprove me. And I'm not trying to step on anybody's beliefs here. This is just me trying to come up with give a logical example for what it could be, but my logic doesn't always have to matter. For the most part, oh crap, there was more to that. I jumped that gun way too fast. For the most part, mo'os remain hidden, spending their time ecstatically consuming the sacred but intoxicating awa root, which induces them to twist from side to side like a canoe's keel when in water. They can be seen when the initial flames of a fire light the altars created for them near their ponds. The petrified head and tail of a mo'o guardian of Puna district on Hawaii are said to be visible at the bottom of two pools, one at Honolua and the other at Kalapana, half a mile away. Moreover, a female mo'o called Mokuhinihia has reputedly made a number of appearances in Maui, most notably in 1838, when she allegedly appeared to hundreds of thousands of people gathered at her pond. Three significant mo'os, respectively named Kilioa, Koi, and Milohli, inhabited precipices in the northern coastal region of Kauai. I'm sorry, I am not very good with names. Another two lived in the Wailuku River close to Hilo on Hawaii and would permit travelers to use them as footbridges to cross the river. Sometimes, however, they would tip their hapless human passengers into the river and drown them. Wow. Consequently, these treacherous monsters were eventually destroyed. According to traditional Hawaii legend, the implacable enemy of unfriendly mo'os was Hiaka, goddess of lightning, who slew many such monsters. It is not clear where the Hawaii belief in such creatures comes from. There are no species of giant reptile native to these islands. Interestingly, legends of giant lizard-like reptiles are common throughout Polynesia, especially Tahiti and New Zealand, so it is likely that the original Polynesians, colonists of Hawaii, brought their beliefs in giant reptiles with them, based perhaps upon ancestral memories of large monitor lizards, or even crocodiles back in their original Indonesian homelands. According to some researchers, Tahitians definitely brought their worship of Mo'o deities to Hawaii, as the royal Oropoa family of Tahiti venerated. Much less probable is that Hawaii was home in distant ages past to a species of very large lizards now long extinct, whose fossils or subfossils remains have yet to be discovered, unless the preserved head and tail of the Punamo compromise such evidence. There are many Pacific and Indian Ocean islands that were home in the past to such creatures, and sometimes stranger ones, such as the now demised horned turtle and land crocodile of New Caledonia. Hawaii itself was formerly populated by a diverse range of sizable of avifauna, including several species of large flightless ducks and ibises, all now extinct, with such a reptile might have fed upon. Well, I mean, where there's prey, there's going to be things to eat them, so that kind of makes sense to me that there could potentially have been something there. The Menehune. Hawaii's most famous mythical beings are the Menehune, benevolent, magical, diminutive humanoids traditionally looked upon in much the same way by Hawaiians as the fairy folk or little people are by people in the Western world. The Menehui are most commonly encountered on Kauai, but have also been reported from several other Hawaiian islands. The most detailed morphological description of them is contained within the standard work on the enigmatic entities. Catherine Lumola's The Menehui of Polynesia, and other mythical little people of Oceania. In this book, the Menehune are claimed to be 2 or 3 feet tall, stout and muscular, with hairy, dark or dark red skin, large eyes and long eyebrows, a protruding brow, very long-haired on their heads, a short, thick nose, sharp ears, a small mouth, broad shoulders, and a round stomach. Living in forest caves and emerging mainly at night, they speak via a series of deep growls or whispers, but are allegedly able to communicate telepathically too, and are even believed capable of learning human language. They fed upon fruit, vegetables, milk, and fish. Numerous ancient bridges, ponds, ditches, and other structures scattered over the Hawaii Islands are alleged to have been originally constructed by the Menehune. Hawaii mythology alleges that modern-day Hawaiians are descended from the Menehune. Renowned cryptozoological chronicler George M. Eberhart has speculated that perhaps belief in the Menehune stems from some ancestral memory of the first wave of Polynesian colonists of Hawaii, retained by the second wave of colonists. Luminal conversely wondered whether they might be a genuine tribe of pygmies. Yeah, I was going to say that actually. These are, like, honestly, this is just doing my job for me here, guys. Nowadays, the Menehune are widely treated as mythical. Yet, as recently as the 1940s, over 40 school children and their schoolmaster, George London, supposedly encountered a group of these mysterious beings jumping up and down among some trees on the lawn of the Waimea Parish property. Once they realized that they were being watched, the Menehune swiftly disappeared beneath the church's foundation. When this property was later examined, no sign of any caves or tunnels through which these mysterious minifolk could have exited was found, thus substantiating their popular status as supernatural rather than merely elusive entities. The Menehune are not the only mysterious humanoids that have been reported from Hawaii. Larger and hairier than those were the Nawaho, described by Martha Beckwith in her still classic work Hawaii Mythology. The being a race of wild people who fed upon bananas in the forest and did not associate with modern humans. A hunting race and formerly numerous, the Nawaho are believed by some to have colonized Hawaii before the Menehune, but they are apparently now entirely gone. There are claims that it was the Menehune. Alright, we may not be done. I gotta look this up. Like, I'm sorry. The Naweho. Just when I thought that this could have been a one thing that didn't have some type of Bigfoot-ish creature, now we got the Naweho. I couldn't find any articles that were any good. So, this is from a Wikipedia thing. But, like, some things are, like, running through my head right now, okay? So I just want to, like, if this is legit, because this actually does point to, there is some evidence that it may not be. But, okay, so this is from Wikipedia, the Naweho. In Hawaiian mythology, the Naweho are a legendary people, a wild, large-sized hunting people descended from Luanua, Beckenwith 1970 blood. Other sources suggest that the Naweho were present in Hawaii before the Menehune, who are thought to have driven them out or destroyed them. However, folklorist Catherine Lamis believes that these legends of the Menehune and similar creatures are a post-European contact mythology. So she thinks that the Menehune were there first, and like the Noeho are like kind of just adopted. So I don't know, but hear me out here, okay? So if they were, that means like this, like they could have just been like a further back group of Polynesians. So like a Polynesians made it to the island, and they focused on hunting. Then but they started to die out, right? And then the next wave, which would be the Menehune, came in, and they wiped them out. And the Menehune probably weren't like the size that they thought they were originally. Like they probably could have been, like normal size, and then like island dwarfism hit them. So maybe like gigantism hit the Noeho, so they got taller, and then but they wiped because there was like an abundance of like megafauna and stuff. And then like the Menehue came in and like they were regular size too, but they were kind of on the edge. They probably overhunted some things, so they were probably on a downward curve. And then the Menehune come in, they take them out, they take over, and then they experience island dwarfism because now there's not as much food as the Noeho were getting. So then the Noeho so now the Menehune turned into pygmies, and the pygmies are what the third wave of Polynesians that arrived on the island discovered, thus giving rise to the Menehune myth, who are the pygmy descendants of whoever drove away the Noeho, which were the gigantism descendants of probably the original island inhabitants. That all just came from the top of my head, and that's going to be my explanation for this bit. So I really hope you guys like it. Unfortunately, I don't believe this qualifies as Bigfoot, so Hawaii might be the very first one that we have found that does not have a Bigfoot. Crazy that we're this far in, and there's one, so I really need to like make a note of this because that's nuts. Giant octopus ahoy. The world's largest recognized species of octopus is the so-called giant Pacific octopus, Interoctopus doflini, which can weigh up to 100 pounds and exceed a radial sphere of 20 feet. So that is a big octopus. The largest recognized specimen of octopus on record belonged to a different Halifrion Atlanticus, a badly damaged, incomplete individual dredged up in March 2002 by a fishing trawler off New Zealand's Chatham Islands. What made it surprising was not just its remarkable size, weighing in an estimated 165 pounds when alive, and with an estimated radial sphere of up to 30 feet, but also its location. Until then, this species had been known to exist in the Atlantic Ocean. This species indicated that there could be other extra-large individuals of its species lurking unseen beneath the Pacific Ocean's surface. Indeed, even the Chatham Islands specimen was positively diminutive in comparison with various Pacific mega octopus that have been reported off Hawaii. In 1928, no less than 6 massive octopuses, each with an estimated radial spread closer to 40 feet, which reputedly spied together off the coast of Oahu by Robert Todd Aiken. While stationed at Pearl Harbor in the U.S. Navy 8 years later, he returned to the same spot with a film crew headed by Robert Hale, and on the front page of the July 27, 1936 issue of Honolulu Advertiser, a photo appearing claimed to be of Aiken standing next to one of the 6 mega octopuses, whose span was given in the photo caption as 40 feet. Nothing more has emerged concerning this incredible find, which seems odd unless it was merely a fake specimen used as a demonstration of how big the real ones would look. One of these giant beasts may have reappeared one Sunday morning in 1950 when diver Madison Rigdon observed a huge grayish-brown octopus the size of a car being attacked by several sharks about 200 yards off of Oahu's Lahilehi Peninsula in an area of water roughly 30 feet deep. Rigdon estimated the length of the octopus's tentacles at 30 feet and claimed that each sucker was the size of a dinner plate. After warding off the sharks, the octopus abruptly released a vast quantity of black ink and sank out of harm's way. Even bigger was the monstrous octopus sighted that same year, resting approximately 30 feet underwater upon a reef of Hawaii's Kona coast by fisherman Val Aiko. When he went diving for turtles, he claimed that its tentacles were 75 feet long, with suckers the size of car tires. After surfacing, Akko dived back down to the reef half an hour later, and the octopus was still there, watching him but not moving. He was later informed by an old family advisor that this enormous creature visited the reef for a month each year, accompanied by other octopus that had been seen many times. Interestingly, both the 1950s sightings took place offshore from localities that have been used by sea turtles as nesting grounds. Perhaps these giant octopuses were lying in wait to catch newly hatched turtles entering the water, or even hoping to snare one of the big adult turtles as they swam shoreward to lay their eggs. I mean, not much to say about that. Giant octopuses are real, so gianter octopuses could also be real. I mean, I fully believe that could be a thing. It's the ocean. We don't know what's in the ocean. There's squids as tall as buildings. Like, why can't a giant octopus with a 30-foot thing exist? Like, I see no reason why that actually could not be a real thing, or could not exist. 2 mystery birds. The Hawaiian Islands are home to a remarkable family of small, brightly colored, finch-like birds found nowhere else in the world. Known collectively as the Drepeninidids or Hawaiian honeycreepers, their 30-odd species sport such delightful native names as Iwi, Amakihi, Aniananiu, Palila, Ulaahawani, and Akiapolau. Tragically, many of these attractive birds are now either extinct or gravely endangered due to a lethal combination of avian disease brought to the island by non-native birds, habitat destruction, predation, and non-native creatures such as rats, and slaughter for their pretty feathers to be used in travel decorations. As a result, some honeycreepers are little known, represented by only a few specimens at scant native information, but none more than the Lanai hookbill, This enigmatic species is known from just a single specimen and a few sightings. On February 22nd, 1913, ornithologist George M. Munro spied an unfamiliar honeycreeper in the Kaiholina Valley. Okay. I have got to apologize. I am very bad at pronunciations, as you can tell by past videos if you go watch them. And Hawaii has really hard ones for me, so I do apologize for the mispronunciation. I'm trying my best. On Lanai, the trusted little bird, predominantly yellow in color, but with black wings, legs, nape, and top of head, plus a notably hooked beak, chirped and flew to a spot near to him. As this was still a time when collecting specimens for museums and private collections interested scientists far more than conserving them alive in their natural habitat, Monroe promptly shot it. He may very well have shot the last one. After examining its corpse, he realized that this bird did not correspond with any other honeycreeper species on record. When formally described, it was indeed declared to represent a new species, which was duly named Dysmorphidipinius Monroe, I'm not even going to try, who later claimed to have had two further sightings of the bird fitting his shot specimen's description. However, no additional example has ever been obtained, nor have any other sightings been reported for a long time. The Lanai hookbill was dismissed as nothing more than a freak or a hybrid. In recent years, however, reassessments of its unique specimen, preserved at the Ernest P. Bishop Museum in Honolulu, have suggested that it may well have been a valid species after all, as its beak and tongue in particular were very distinctive. Larger than the honeycreepers, but equally striking, was another group of birds native exclusively to the Hawaii Islands, belonging to Meliphagidae or honey-eater families. These spectacular species were known collectively as "o'os", named after their "oo" cry, and were characterized by their silky black plumage, highlighted with primrose yellow epaulets and flashes of white beneath their long, slender tails. Except for Maui, each major island was once home to its own unique species of "oo", but just as with the honeycreepers, one by one the "oos" became extinct, killed for their gorgeous plumes and persecuted by rats. By the 1960s, only a single species survived, the dwarf "oo", or Ooaa baracus of the Kauai, and today this may have died out too because there has been no confirmed sightings since the late 1980s. In 1981, an "oo" was clearly observed twice on the supposedly "oo"-lacking island of Maui by an inexperienced American ornithologist. This highly unexpected specimen has been classed as a representative of Bishop's "oo" mo'o, Bishop's bishopi, previously believed to be confirmed entirely to Molokai, where it has been deemed extinct since 1904. Whether Maui's mysterious "oo" still exists, however, is another matter, as no post-1981 sighting of it has been reported. Okay, so this is less cryptid and more like extinct or alive, but I mean, their two are probably going to overlap at some point, and I guess it just overlapped on Hawaii. I mean, these birds existed. Whether they still exist or not, whole other story. But I like the fact that they included this with the myths, because eventually this bird could just be a myth. So I'm really glad that this is actually included in this article. Unexpected interlopers. In recent years, some unusual and definitely non-Hawaii animals have been reported from the 50th state, but surely none more so than the following trio of decidedly unexpected, mystifying interlopers. I lied. This could be interesting. Unconfirmed sightings of a mysterious big cat have been circulating on Maui since the late 1980s. Between December 2002 and June 14, 2003, no less than 8 separate reports of a dark brown, long-tailed feline beast resembling a puma, weighing an estimated 100 pounds and stalking the lower Olinda district of Maui were filed by the island's Invasive Species Committee. After a clump of fur matching the description was found at the scene of a June 9, 2003 sighting, 2 large meat-baited box traps were set, but nothing was caught. However, a search of the area later found large claw marks on trees, as well as some chewed bird remains and 4-inch paw prints. More traps, this time baited with chicken, were set, and one was destroyed, but no cat was caught. After a pet 30-pound fawn was found mauled to death in mid-July, big cat expert Bill Van Pelt was called in from Arizona's Game and Fish Department. But despite employing recorded wildcat calls, infrared cameras, and even simulated prey calls to lure the cat into view, it remained elusive. Yet again, hefty claw marks were discovered on a tree, which convinced Van Pelt that a large cat was indeed in the area, and two more paw prints were found following an alleged puma sighting on August 25th. Five other sightings and the mauling of a pet dog in October led to the arrival on Maui of more big cat experts who collected hair samples for DNA analysis. But these proved inconclusive, sorry. The Maui mystery cat case remains unsolved. The most likely explanation is that a large cat was brought illegally into Hawaii and then escaped or was released and permitted to roam at will. This explanation definitely answers the mystery of how a mature female South American piranha came to be caught, oh god, on February 23rd, 1993. So real quick before we get into the piranha thing, yeah, that's totally a cat got out. Somebody brought a cat that wasn't supposed to have a cat and it escaped. So, yeah, that's the answer for that one, guys. Honestly, like I think that's real. I don't think it's a mystery. I think it's just an escaped big cat. This explanation definitely answers the mystery of how a mature female South American piranha came to be caught on February 23rd, 1993 in Oahu's Wahio, Wahioa Reservoir. Reports of such fishes had first been reported here at least 8 months earlier, but remained unconfirmed until the specimen was finally procured. So somebody caught a piranha in Hawaii. I mean, that makes sense. Like that's the thing. As for the chupacabras, okay, well now we're getting into the crazy. For the chupacabras, this bizarre mystery beast is traditionally associated with Hispanic localities, most notably Puerto Rico, Mexico, and South America. On February 16, 2007, a grotesque beast describing a half dog, half human, and likened in media reports to the fabled chupacabra was spied just outside the Kuahilea Airport on Maui. Several canine chupacabra specimens discovered in the mainland United States have proven to be dogs or coyotes with mange, but whether such an explanation could be satisfactorily applied to a creature said to be half human is another matter. As can be seen from the selection of examples documented here, Hawaii is greatly deserving of future attention from enterprising cryptozoological investigators keen to seek out some of our planet's lesser-known cryptids, and also from zoo mythologists interested in uncovering more concerning the 50 Estates' fascinating legend and lore. An internationally recognized expert in cryptozoology. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think the chupacabra thing might be like dogs, like they said. Chupacabras are hard, man. They're all of them are look different, and the way they eat, and it's like, and all the videos are like, oh, it's a raccoon with mange, or that's a dog with mange. They caught a coyote and it's got mange. Like, I don't know. Man, it's none of that stuff is supposed to exist in Hawaii though, at least not naturally. So it would have to be like, I don't know. It could have been a dog. It could have even just been a person. So I don't really know. But I guess we'll never know. But I'll tell you what. I may not know. But what do you guys think? Drop some comments down below. If you guys could draw up some of that stuff and send it to me, that'd be awesome. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of or seen any of these before. That would be really interesting to know from me, and I'd love to hear your guys' stories. And yeah. But all that being said, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells, and follow me on the rest of my social medias. And I will see you guys on the next Cryptid Saturday.